More and more men are leaving countries like America, Great Britain, many Western countries in Europe, Australia, and come to here, Southeast Asia, South America, Africa, and many other countries that still hold family values, traditional culture. But, but when these dudes show up here, they completely fail at what they're actually trying to accomplish for one reason and one reason only. They bring themselves with them. And, it absolutely defeats the entire purpose of coming here. Now, just in case if you don't know who I am a guy, just a regular guy who decided that he had enough. He doesn't want to deal with modern women. He doesn't want to be a second class citizen anymore. He wants to go somewhere where there's still women that have traditional values. So I got up and got the fuck out of there. And I came here to Bangkok, Thailand, but other men choose different locations. And I have actually become what the original definition of a passport bro was. And don't get me wrong, I hated the term itself, but the definition is of someone like me who wants to come to another country and find a girl who has traditional values, gender roles, submissive, and so on and so on, to one day marry her. Now, I got to tell you, once I got here, I realized it's a kind of a two-step, a very independent process. One is just getting the fuck away from American women is already just getting the peace of just not having them around. It's already just it's worth it on its own. Now, once you get here, you can choose to date a girl to marry. You can choose different other different ways how you can be a single man or halfway single man or married man. That's kind of up to you. I'm literally no longer preaching marriage per se. Just being away is a reward enough. So, however, there are a couple of problems with that. First of all, a lot of these idiots look at the TikTok videos and YouTube videos, and they see these dudes who go like, "Yeah, I'm a passport bro. Here's my hot girlfriend here who speaks English. Has got tattoos all over the place, nose ring, and wearing a skimpy outfit. Happy to be on camera all the time." These are not traditional women. This in no way, shape, or form, these are traditional women. These dudes just got to a country where it's just cheaper to hire sugar baby. They're still paying for it. And these women are still pretty much the same as women back in America or Great Britain. And so you think Thailand or Philippines or Colombia or any other country was not able to produce the same type of women as America has? The more dudes come here and simp the same way, the more they train these women to be exactly the same and therefore useless. And as a matter of fact, nowadays, foreigners don't even have to come to these countries to damage these women. They just do it online. A girl can be living in a remote village, but as long as she's got one of these and a Wi-Fi connection, which pretty much most of them do, these pathetic simps are ruining them over the internet. High-tech ruining of culture and traditional women. So it doesn't matter where you're going to show up with your white face and dollars or euros or whatever. You're still going to have plenty of the same Americanized, westernized women to choose from, to take advantage of you, to simp for, and so forth. So the problem number one is what you originally thought a passport bro is nothing. There's nothing to do with actually men like me. But secondly, and this is what I want to talk about in this video, because, as I started my YouTube channel, I've had a few guys who reached out to me and told me, "Hey, I'm coming to Bangkok or just Thailand in general. Do you mind you kind of walking me through this, what I need to do to be successful here?" Now, the best way, of course, is to actually go right here to the millionmanproject.com. I spent 3 months putting together every single little detail that you need to know to be successful in how you move from the country of your origin to whatever country of your choice. So you pick the correct country and you understand how to wind down your life in America or any other country, and and actually start your life here. It's not an easy process. By the way, let's be very honest. If you're willing to move countries like I was, that's not a simple thing. It's not supposed to be a simple thing. Leaving your friends and family behind, your culture, the language that you speak, many, 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 many other things that you're probably going to miss. That's a big deal, right? But if you're ready, and I think every man in America should, I was going to say every single man, but no, every man in America should be ready and wanting to get the fuck away from there if they truly do want to find that good traditional woman like their mother and their grandmother was, and men who are old enough like me remember our ex-girlfriends. um, Nothing worth having ever comes easy. So, and this is the problem where a lot of these men have, right? They think that all they have to do is to just show up. And they do. So these few gentlemen that I'm talking about, and I'm sure there will be more, who kind of ask me to mentor them a little bit, show them around. They show up here and you tell them, hey, one of the first things, you kind of want to start learning the language, because the benefits here, unlike in some other countries, like Philippines or Kenya or some other countries where women already speak English, that protects these women from being Americanized. As a matter of fact, if you watched me long enough, you know that when I date Thai women, I don't date Thai women who speak English, because this real virus, as I call it, spreads by speaking English. As soon as a girl is able to talk to a foreigner, listen to Beyonce, and understand that bullshit, that's it. That's it. She's done. She's already damaged. And it works every single time. I am one of the few people here who can actually tell you this, because I am learning Thai. My Thai is far from perfect, but I'm now able to date women who don't speak English, and I've dated women who do. And I got to tell you, the difference is just staggering. It is staggering. So I believe, and this is the reason I decided to start this channel, is because I have experienced something that a lot of men can't or haven't yet. And so when I talk to this man, they show up, and I say, you should start learning. Like, oh, no, this is very hard. I see there are plenty of women who speak English here. I'm going to date them. You should not date them. Please don't. There's going to be no difference. So they don't listen. They don't listen. They start dating this women, and then they come back and go like, oh man, she ghosted me, or she's talking to a bunch of other dudes, or damn it, I have to spend all this money on her. And I was like, yeah, because you're dating exactly the same type of girl you ran away from in your country of origin. And I told you that we still have them here, and you need to stay away from them. Start learning Thai or whatever language that is surrounds you, because it's not just about dating women that are much harder to infect with all the feminist bullshit and the Western culture, but also there's more to it. You're starting to learn the culture of the country that you live in. If you think this culture or any other culture is very easy to get into, no, these cultures are old school cultures, and you grew up in a very modern Western culture. You're going to spend a few months at the very least, but most likely a few years, just to wrapping your brain around how this society works. And the problem is that, you walk in here, and a lot of times, foreigners come in here and they live in foreign area, touristy area. Everything looks exactly the same, if not even better, like it was back home, right? We have modern buildings, we have amazing malls and shops and great freaking cars. People speak English in touristy places. So foreigners come in and go like, oh, listen, looks exactly the same. But, that's not even Thailand that you're in. If you just step away into real Thai neighborhoods, and again, I'm just using Thailand as an example because that's my favorite country and country of choice. But if you step away, you will see that things are very, very, very different. And to me, different is good. I came here for different. I came here for kinder people. I came here for women who are shy and submissive and don't raise their voices and speak, very gently. And, why do you, I came here. So why do you come here for that and yet don't want to step outside of your touristy area, of your, Hyatt hotel and your Starbucks and KFCs and actually enter the country? I mean, I've seen dudes who live here for years and they never actually visit Thailand. And they date these women, and the result is absolutely the same. These women will take advantage of them, they will milk them, and this whole thing is like, oh, these Thai women, they'll cook and clean for you and all that stuff. No, they don't. No, they don't. I live in a building that's you know, one of the top of the line buildings here, and I see all of these dudes with their girlfriends. You know what I see? I see every goddamn night when I'm taking a walk, late at night in the evening time, and I come back and I see all of their girlfriends, or even these dudes themselves, come down to pick up deliveries. You know what that means? That these girls are not cooking for them, and they're definitely not cleaning. They're exactly the same as like American women, which, and by the way, they don't even go to the gym. We have two gyms. We have two different gyms here, and a swimming pool and all of that stuff. These bitches are never there. And I can tell. I don't need to, be at the gym to make sure that they're not there. I can see. I can look at their bodies. These women are not fit. These women don't do anything to really attract or keep these guys, because they don't need to. These guys come in here, they simp, and they behave exactly the same way, and they get the same women who are not really worth that much. And this is really the problem. And uh, these foreigners, they think that they just have to do exactly the same thing that they did over there, except for here it's going to work. No, it's only going to work if you're going to want to get the same girl. But if you want to actually get an amazing girl, no, you're going to have to understand this culture. You have to understand her culture. You have to learn her language. But there are also such simpler things that you have to do. First of all, you need to stop thinking that just because you're going to show up and you're white, you are going to be automatically wanted much more. Now, should you be? Yes, I can easily argue that, generally speaking, you're going to be more educated than most people in any country. You're going to have more money and so forth and so forth, right? However, you also need to understand, because sometimes, I hear these foreigners always say, well, I can't believe this beautiful, gorgeous girl is with that, loser Thai guy. I can, buy her the world, and I'm so much better than him. And what they fail to understand is that you're not that much better. As a matter of fact, she chose him for a reason. And yes, he may not have as much money as you. He may not be even as good looking as you, though you don't know her preferences. There are many Thai women who don't want to date Thai, foreigners. They want to date Thai men because that's just where their attraction is. But the thing is, these women know that these Thai men speak their language, understand the same culture, understand the same values, will probably have the same values for raising their children, and most importantly, they won't leave. The number of foreigners who come here, fuck around, and then leave is staggering. Now, unfortunately, a lot of Thai women, and again, I'm just giving Thai women an example, this happens in many countries. Unfortunately, they believe them and end up being what's here called holiday girlfriends, where they become girlfriends, but girls don't know that. They think they're real girlfriends, but the guys know that these are holiday girlfriends, that they're going to go back to their countries and dump these girls. And that also damaged, the views of foreigners in a lot of these countries. So a lot of these women will choose a local guy with the same culture, and the guy who will not be going back home to another country. So that's one of many mistakes that these foreigners make when they come here. Secondly, they're just basic shit that you can do to essentially make yourself different. Because there are other foreigners here too, and they can be younger and better looking and have more money and more swag and whatever it is. So you still have competition of other men here, and pretty stiff competition, because some of these digital nomads and international executives who live in these countries, they have value. They're high value men also. So you have to compete with them. Now, I still would argue that the number of men who actually live here permanently and are single in our husband material is still tiny compared to women who want to date them. But that's just logic. Women don't look at it. Women look at all of the tourists who will lie to them, saying that, oh yeah, baby, I'm just checking this out, and I'm totally coming back. Yeah, or I'm gonna take you with me to France, or Italy, or wherever I'm from, and they believe it. So but in reality, there are very few men who actually live here permanently, and especially like me, who are learning the local language, which will put me in top 0.1%. And yet still, you can't change women's brains and change their minds, and they will still go for those foreigners. But do something different. For example, like dress better, do your hair better. Because I see these motherfuckers showing up here and they're wearing the same goddamn simpy clothes. Like, a typical American man or European man looks like an 11-year-old boy. That's when I dressed like all these dudes dress in sandals over socks, shorts, oversized polo shirt or t-shirt. You think that's fucking attractive to look like an 11-year-old boy in shorts and sandals? No. Now, it is much harder to look like a man here because it's fucking hot as shit and the humidity is at 100%, but there are still clothes that you can wear here. Like, I'm in a tropical country where it's freaking 80 to 90 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, over 40 degrees Celsius here almost every day. Again, 100% humidity. And I don't even own a pair of shorts. I stopped buying shorts when, I became a man, when I stopped being a boy. I don't have sandals. I have dress shoes. I have other shoes. I'm literally looking at my shoe rack. I have 2 cowboy shoes, even though I spent only about half a year in Texas. But, do your hair. Do your fucking hair. I mean, look at me. If you watched me on my previous channel where, I had a channel before that for 7 years, I changed my hairstyle. And it wasn't because I thought this hairstyle is better. I'm not a huge fan, but I'm balding. I'm older. I'm almost 50. I don't want to do another hair transplant surgery just yet. So I now style my hair a little bit differently, covering up my, bald spots and stuff like that. I think it's working out pretty good so far. But at least it's a hairstyle. Most men roll out of bed, put their comfy boys' clothes on, and then they go out there and they're like, yeah, I'm a passport bro. Passport boy at best. Dress the fuck up if you're a man, if you want to distinguish yourself. If you want these, women to look good, on you, then, next to you and at you, then you should dress up. LJ in the chat is right. Please hit the like button. That usually helps. This is a brand new channel. So, I know my previous channel before I started hitting real views and real subscribers. And I got that channel to about 170,000 subscribers, my previous channel. But, this is a new channel. So please don't forget to hit the like button. A lot of times this live streams, which I absolutely love doing, get a lot of views afterwards, but I digress. So check your attitude at the door. Okay, you have a lot to learn about women, about these countries, and how to operate here. Start dressing better. Start dressing better. And I know it's been like almost 19 minutes since I started this live stream, but let me get to the most important point here. Stop fucking simping. If you simped in America, and I know a lot of you guys don't know. I know a lot of these guys come here and they don't even know they were simping there. They don't know they're simping here. And when I tell them, hey, stop simping, they tell me, I'm not simping. Oh, who's simping? I'm simping. I'm like, that girl that you told me that somehow ghosted you? Let me see those chats. Man, nothing ruins my day like looking at the chats of, these dudes come in here thinking they're passport bros. It is fucking embarrassing. I mean, double and triple texting, asking questions and getting short replies, quick answers. How you doing? Good. If you ask a girl how you doing and she said good, unmatch her and block her. Good. How are you? These dudes don't even understand that if they're asking questions and not getting the same questions back, this girl doesn't give a shit about you. She's not trying to get to know you. She is made you into a subscriber, and I already did a live stream on that. She's just going to milk you for all the little compliments that you're going to give her, and probably some money, because a lot of these guys, and I'll get to it in a second, just offer money to these women. But she's not actually interested. Stop doing the same simpy things that you were doing in America or in Europe. These women, They need to be interested. They need to take the interest, because at the end of the day, here you are the prize. And you don't want to date a girl who doesn't know that. A lot of them don't, especially if you're trying to go after a girl who speaks English. She's already westernized. She's already, it's useless. So you need to stop simping, but first you need to understand what it is. And a lot of these guys who had, asked me for my advice, and my advice, number one advice, was like, stop simping. Don't do this. If you ask her a question and she replied with, stop talking to her. No, continue doing it. Don't give a compliment in the first 24 hours. Oh, you're so pretty. You're so beautiful. Really? You think no one else said that to her? You just only qualified yourself like a little bitch who will give her compliments, and that's all you're good for. No, I just started actually. I just met a girl while I was on one of the exotic islands here, and it's been 3 or 4 days. I think I gave her 2 compliments total. And I did not give her a single compliment until I got her phone number and we scheduled a date. Not a single compliment. Why? Because I don't want to be in the same bucket with you losers who are consistently simping. As soon as you get put into that bucket, of the catch, like the fish that she caught, that she's going to basically eat for dinner, because you're going to continue simping for her. And that's, number one drug for a modern woman or modernized woman: attention and sometimes the money. That's it. You can never get out of that bucket. Like, remember, once that fish or crawdad gets into that bucket, that's it. It's going to be eaten at home, or the dog's going to eat it. That's it. You're going to be in that bucket. So don't fucking simp, and you won't be in that bucket. I didn't. A lot of times I challenge these women. I kind of go after them a little bit. I kind of make sure that I'm talking to him like I'm almost talking to a guy, that like, I don't need this conversation. You know what I mean? So I don't really need to simp, because if I do, and it's easy to simp, right? But if I do, it's over. So stop fucking simping. Don't be afraid of losing these women. If a girl doesn't want you, why would you want her? Your number one requirement, of course, after just basic physical attraction, should be that this girl likes you, that she recognizes you as a potential mate, as a high value man, as a good looking guy. If the girl doesn't see that in you, why the fuck would you want her? Move the fuck on to the next girl. Listen, if there's plenty of stuff in Southeast Asia and South America and Africa, it's good looking chicks, cute girls. Depending, of course, on your preference. Now, I like black women, so it's a bit of a tough go here, but that's why I'm going to Kenya. I'm going to Africa next month, and I will report you guys about what's going on there. But stop using the same methods that you did in America. A lot of these guys also go like, "Hey, Alex, I met this girl at this, Starbucks, and she's not really answering my messages. What should I do?" I said, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa. Go back to where the fuck did you meet her? You showed up here in Thailand and you decided to go to Starbucks? You think a regular, normal Thai girl can afford Starbucks? You think she's hanging out in Starbucks? What the fuck is wrong with you?" No, they don't hang out with it. As a matter of fact, if a girl is hanging out in Starbucks, she's either paying for it herself, which means she's going to be busy with her career, whatever, being a boss chick, or some dude is paying for it. It could be her father, but she's just going to be one of those girls who's used to a man paying for her stuff. Don't go to Starbucks to look for women. That's not where traditional women hang out, you idiot. And every time I have to guide these guys and saying, listen, stop living in America, stop simping, stop doing the same things that you've done in the United States or Great Britain, Australia, and so forth and so forth. Stop doing it. And then, by the way, cold approaches. That's another thing. These guys think that, oh yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and come up to a girl, get her number. I'm sorry, what? You think, first of all, you think this traditional women up for just being approached by a foreigner and just these women don't want to look like, oh yeah, I'm such a hoe that I'm out there attracting foreigners and there's one talking to me and I'm going to give him a phone number. These cultures are conservative. None of these girls want to be seen being picked up by a foreigner. And if she does, you don't want her. And if you do, why the fuck are you here? Go back to America or Great Britain or whatever. There's plenty of them there. At best, at best, you can kind of flirt with a girl and really quickly give you your QR code and then exchange information really quick. But a lot of them will absolutely not going to go for you trying to pick them up in public. This is not how these cultures work. You came here for conservative culture, right? For conservative values when it comes to family values. You came here for traditional women. Well, they live in a traditional country. It's like trying to say, you know what? I'm tired of eating chickens. I want some fish. And you dive into the lake and you start, catch a fish and you start breathing and you stop drowning. You're like, what the hell? Well, I can't breathe underneath here with fish. Yeah, you came here to catch fish, so you can't breathe. Learn how to swim. Learn how to hold your breath, or grow some of the gills and you'll be fine. Same thing here. Grow some of the gills, understand the culture. So every time, I try to help, but here's the problem. I don't mind helping these guys. I understand. I went through a lot of this bullshit myself. It took me a while to understand and give you all of this knowledge that I have found, and I still have a lot to learn. The problem is that these guys come here and they think they know everything about everything. And even though I tell them, hey guys, you gotta put a little bit more work here. You can't just get off the plane and go to start picking up women. You're just not ready. You're not ready. And no. What does Alex fucking know about this? And then every single one of them comes back and goes like, oh, it's not working out very well. Fuck Thailand, or fuck Bangkok or whatever. It's not, no. It's not Thailand, it's not Bangkok, it's not Philippines, it's not Kenya or whatever. It's you stupid idiot. It's you. You brought your simpy little ass here and thought you're just going to walk in like a boss and all these women are going to flock with you. You know how many guys got off that plane before you who are smarter than you, richer than you, better looking than you, you're thinking first, well, yeah, the first guys who did it 10, 20 years ago, yeah, they had that experience. They didn't have to do shit. But I'm sorry, we now have internet. There's no such thing as, oh, I've discovered this, place. No, Google discovered that place, and that's it, the end. Tinder discovered that place, the end. So the game has definitely evolved. And the reason that I like it here in Thailand specifically, but I invite you to go to other countries like Cambodia and Vietnam and others, is where the language protects the culture. Is it fucking difficult as shit learning one of the most difficult languages in the world like Thai? Fuck yeah. It's been 2 years and I know that I need at least 1, but maybe 2 more years to speak Thai. But when I do, and I know I'll be in my 50s, but that's fine. That's not a problem here. When I do, I will have access to 99% of women here that foreigners can't even they don't even know where they're at. These foreigners, they can go to the province because first of all, they can't even go to an, non-air conditioned restaurant, because they're so used to their ass sitting in a fucking Starbucks or KFC. I'm used to it. No problem. Done a lot of times. That's where amazing Thai people hang out, They can't speak to any of these people. They don't understand what's going on. So foreigners can go to a province or even remote areas of Bangkok outside of their touristy areas. But as soon as you're able to, sky is the limit. And I got to tell you, the more I learn Thai and the more I learn about Thai culture, and I don't love everything. I mean, we have such a huge festival going on right now, New Year's. It's called Songkran. And you can TikTok and see how crazy it is right now. I mean, I'm not a big fan. But most of the things that I learn about Thai culture, which includes learning the language, I absolutely love. And the more I love it, the more I want to stay here, the more I understand the women, the more I'm able to actually communicate with them better, not just because of the language, but just because I understand where they're coming from, and why I'm doing it. I'm going to get to some of the questions that you guys asked in the chat in a second. Let me bring it in here. Oh, there they are. And so I am. And by the way, you guys forgot to tell me if you're in single or in a relationship. So if you're still watching me live, don't forget to do that. But here's the thing. I know I've been preaching, and I never know where to point here. See, the millionmanproject.com. That's where the best help lies that I put together. I know I charge money for it, but honestly, I will save you so much money, with this guide. But if you want to come here, you can't come here with you come here improved, come here with an open mind, come here, be prepared to learn a lot, come here and be prepared that you're not ready to date a traditional woman. You haven't talked to one in many many years, except for maybe your mother or your grandmother. But as far as like a single girl that you want, you haven't talked to one, because where the fuck are they in America? They're not there anymore. So you need little by little by little by little, you need to adopt. So give yourself a couple of years or maybe even more when you come to this country, but it's going to be worth it, I promise you. Now, I started this video with this. Just not having Western women around is already an amazing feeling. Now, I do come across them sometimes on purpose, here in Bangkok or in other countries that I visit, like last time I was in Bali. And I got to tell you, just the way they even talk, this entitled, loud, obnoxious voice of a modern women, it's already just giving me an allergy. I'm just allergic to that. I just can't take it. It's so every time I come across it, and just but it just not being around that, not being around women who are consistently trying to manipulate you or get something out of you or demean you, your toxic masculinity. By the way, I'm actually am making a shirt for myself. Not sure if I should probably sell it in whatever YouTube store that I have. It's going to say toxic masculinity. It's going to have my logo and says served daily. Now, I didn't think of it. I think I saw someone else. I think it was Tsar Vanya, I think his name is, wearing it. And there are some that are already for sale, but I'm going to put my logo on it. And yeah, I love serving toxic masculinity every day. And when I talk to these modern women that I come across here, it is amazing, because I can say to these modern women that you motherfuckers can never say over there in America. You will get fucking fired, canceled, booed out of the bar or whatever. But here you can talk to, these fucking modern women the way you actually want to, and there's nothing they can do about it. You know what I mean? They're in a minority. Now, I don't know why a lot of them come here to actually live here. It makes no fucking sense to me whatsoever. Every single one of them that I know never ever finds an actual husband here, and yet they keep coming. But whatever. All right. LJ, thanks for some of the props here. I really do appreciate it. Alex is a Renaissance man. Listen, call me whatever it is, but I think my job is quite difficult. However, because I have to talk to a lot of men who just don't even understand what I'm fucking talking about. Like I'm speaking Thai to them. It's hard to wake men up, and drag them out of the matrix when they don't want to, and they don't even understand why they need to do it. So it's rough. It is definitely rough, and like it's hard to like even sell my course, which I truly believe would help this man to have a better life, because they're like, why are we doing this? You know what I mean? So it is rough. All right, next thing LG says, I simped most of my life. I don't know why you put simped in quotes. You probably said we all have, right? Most of my life, thanks to Holly weird church brainwashing. Yeah, listen, we can't blame ourselves for that, right? Because what is now simping used to be being a gentleman, right? And here in Thailand, you still kind of have to separate. Again, I say Thailand, but I mean any other country that's traditional. You still kind of separate. Like, for example, I still hold doors for women, but you know what I get for it? An amazing exchange of feminine energy coming away. I either get a why or not like this, or some sort of a submissive gratitude, Now I never open doors for Western women. I mean, unless it's like an elderly woman, or maybe woman already, with a husband or whatever, so I don't mind that. But fucking entitled little bitches who come here from America and Great Britain, fuck them. I honestly, well, I mean, usually I don't even see them, so I can't open doors to women I cannot see. But yeah, so here you still want to be a gentleman. Now you probably, I don't know if you guys seen, but I've had a Paul Elam, the most prominent men's rights activist, on my show. I already released one of 3 videos that we did together. And he believes that even romance is kind of dangerous when it comes to all of this. But I do like romance, and I do like opening doors and giving flowers and stuff like that, as long as I'm with a very submissive and feminine woman, which there are still plenty of here. Simping, so yes, so we all kind of had to navigate that. Simping is a lack of self-respect as a man. It's also an insecurity. I see how these men come here, and they're good men. Like all the guys that I just told you guys about, they're all good men. I genuinely, otherwise I wouldn't want to mentor them. I don't want to mentor one of those dickheads who come here to just buy these, sugar babies. Fucking, I don't want to have nothing to do with them. These men are good men. They will make good husbands. They will make good fathers. They'll become good members of this traditional society, which I hope I have become already. But they bring the lack of, not only self-respect, LJ was right, but also insecurity. Just this worshiping of women and insecurities about themselves, thinking that they're not good enough. Is like, no, you are, and you should know that. Now some of them are delusional. Some of these dudes come over here and they think that they're the best looking or the richest, or they have some sort of I'm in with women. No, like in America, for example, I told you guys that I was I dated black women. Now, I could approach black women that probably better than any white guy in America. I'm exaggerating a little, but definitely I was really good at it, because I've learned how to cold approach black women from black men. And if you ever seen a black dude approach black girl, it is a fucking piece of art. It is piece of art. So that's where I kind of learned that, and I was very proud of my skill. I've also figured out how to never get rejected. Pretty much 99% of the time is because I never ask for a phone number from a girl until I ask her, hey, by any chance, are you seeing anybody? Right? And if she says yes, even if she's lying to me because she knows where this is going and she doesn't want to reject me, she'll say yes. I'll be like, all right, cool. That was just a random question. Now I won't be rejected, right? So I had no problems with cold approaches. Guess what? That skill is completely useless here. You don't cold approach women here. You just don't. And when you do, I mean, it is just such a, nuanced dance that's really not that long and really requires really knowing and the culture and understanding what's happening. But, but there are a lot of skills that you're going to have to give up. And when you show up and you do that, you're going to get the same results. But yeah, simping is a problem, and these guys are just like, it's just so difficult for me to talk them out of it. Alpha dad, beta dad. I see they don't go to the gym because they learn English and increase the options. Okay, so he's quoting me from a few minutes ago. Yeah, the problem is sometimes with when you have a lot of skinny girls around, right? And a lot of them are in this time, in this in this Southeast Asia, right, or in Asia, right? They don't go to the gym because they're already skinny. But man, nothing like skinny legs that have no tone to it. And a lot of them obviously don't have much booty, and they go to the gym. So it's at least when you go to the gym and you have a small booty, you got something going on. But yeah, so that's a tough thing. But here's the thing: these women don't go to the gym because they don't have to. I was describing those Americanized Thai women that these foreigners end up with because they don't know what even a good woman is, a traditional woman is. So they get stuck with the same, just cheaper version of an American woman. And like I said, that's how I know. They don't go to the gym, they don't cook, they clean. And this American dudes or Australian dudes or whatever, they completely buy them out. They completely buy them out. They basically said, quit your job, I'll pay for you, don't worry about it. So these women now, they don't even have to go to work, uh, and yet they don't do any work at home. This is how pathetic these men come here, even though they don't have to be pathetic anymore. So that's what I was, talking about. uh, Anthony Victor says, what's your best opener when you target is in a group? When you poor target is in a group. Oh, when your target is in a group. So okay, where? In America, here's the thing: approaching black women in a group is actually not as big of a problem as approaching white or other women in the group, because when you approach a white girl in the group, her group doesn't want her to get the guy, right? Because they all strive on being single and miserable. Black women, generally speaking, are the other way around. They're like, oh, hell yes, of course, go get some dick, So they will actually part in front of you and even help you sometimes. Now, obviously, you need to be confident. Obviously, you need to be able to, like I said, talk to women without going, oh, you're so, I just had to come over to tell you you're so beautiful. Blech. Don't fucking do that. Disgusting. You know, a lot of times when I come over to, tell a girl something, it's usually kind of almost a challenge. Like I remember in Oakland, that's where I lived for a while. I saw this really good looking girl that I really liked, and she was like a third. It was like a table for two, and she was kind of a third. They got an extra chair, and so all the waiters and waitresses had to kind of like, and other people to kind of squeeze her and bump her, and I waited for the moment where I did smile at her, and she smiled back, like just obviously establish some communication. And But then when somebody, I think, bumped her or something like that, because they were like maybe a little bit bigger, couldn't squeeze in, I literally turned around and said, man, you're just on everyone's way today, huh? Right now, that's a fucking challenge, and the truth is she is, and she knows that, because people keep squeezing in and out and everything. But think about it: bunch of dudes in the last week or two or a month were all, oh my god, you're so beautiful, you're so pretty, can I buy you a drink? Oh, another thing, can I buy a drink? I'm so fucking useless that the only value I have to use by handing money to you so you can hand it to a bartender to get you a drink. Now, compare all of that simping and pathetic behavior to someone who comes coming in and challenging, because I'm not afraid to lose her. That's the thing. I'm not afraid that she's not going to like me. I'm not afraid that she's going to reject me. I'm not afraid, because next I'm good. So they sense that. They sense the simps, and they put them in that bucket, right? Just like the fish that's going to be fed to the dog when you get home. And now you all of a sudden, oh, what the fuck is this little white boy, what's going on? So you have to contrast yourself, and it doesn't matter where in the world you are. It doesn't matter where in the world you are. The most important thing is to not like the girl so much that you're afraid that you're going to lose her, whether it's a year into it or 1 second into it. Every time you approach a girl, just know that she probably is not going to work out. And that is how I operate even now. A lot of girls that I match with, even I don't use dating apps that much anymore, but when I do match, or when I talk to a girl, whatever, my attitude is like, listen, that's probably not going to work out. I might as well have fun with it, and I do. So that's, I would say, is the best opener. A challenge, a challenge. So that's very important. And yeah, how it is with white girls in America, and they just so fucking miserable. They just like to cock block each other instead of helping you out. Now, of course, there are exceptions, but generally speaking, approaching a bunch of white girls is not. Now, luckily, I've never been really into white girls. I mean, a pretty girl is a pretty girl, but um, and there's not that many of here, and I want nothing to do with them. But approaching black girls, a lot of time, sometimes black girls approach you. They have no problems making the first connection. So that was always a treat too when that happens. I think Europeans encourage it. I am. Oh, okay. You just clarify, encouraging a guy approaching their friend. Listen, I've been to Europe many times. I don't see any difference in the way European women operate. Are they as horrible as American women? No, but they're about like 70% there. They're about 70% there. Now, you probably, if you watch my channel, you know that my most popular video on YouTube on this channel is, how you should avoid Russian women. And as you guys know, I am Russian. Absolutely avoid Russian women. They are poison in every single way. As a matter of fact, I always compare them to snakes. And let me be very clear. I love snakes. I love snakes. But because I love snakes, I also know that the more beautiful the snake is, usually that means in the nature that the beautiful markings, usually in red and yellow, means that this snake has a lot of poison. And that is a great analogy. A lot of feminists don't understand the difference between analogy and a comparison. It's definitely a good analogy to essentially showcase why you should never hang out or talk to or date, and definitely fuck Russian women. You will be bitten with the poison. And I know a lot of you, and including myself, yes, a lot of Russian women, are attractive and everything. The other day, I was sitting in my little coffee shop that I sit in, and there was a Russian girl who came in, and she definitely wanted my attention, because she said, like, literally there was, all the tables were empty, and she said specifically right in front of me. And she was good looking. It was obviously she wanted, me to talk to her. And I was like, no, Alex, down, boy. I know she's a beautiful snake, but let's look at her from the distance and let her crawl away. And I didn't say a word. But yeah, I mean, no doubt, Russian women are definitely absolutely beautiful. And that's part of the problem, that a lot of guys cannot resist that. So that is, so that was my approach. I think, let me go back to what question was I answering, or about the opener. Now, listen, all of that is gone. Here, my opener is much easier, because here you kind of have to, what would definitely be considered simping in America. Here, you do have to give a compliment to a girl, because one, they don't get compliments much because guys don't approach them. So it is unique. But secondly, if you don't come up to a girl and tell her that you like her on a very basic level, she will not think that you're approaching her as being interested in her as a potential girlfriend, right? So you do have to say it. Now I say I can start conversations in time. So the fact that I say it, and I know specifically, I made sure that my teacher teaches me how to give a compliment, not in the same way as foreigners who basically use Google Translate and memorize that. So when they hear me say, hey, how you doing? I think you're cute. I definitely say it in such a way that they know, like, ooh, this guy's probably learning Thai or speaks a little bit of Thai. And then all of a sudden there is a double whammy. It's like, whoa, well, triple whammy if you think about it. One, I got approached. That's kind of weird. Secondly, and again, you have to do it very carefully. You have to do it very, very carefully. Secondly, I got a compliment. This guy likes me. Wow. They do sometimes get really taken back when a good-looking foreigner likes them, and sometimes even not a good-looking foreigner likes them. And thirdly, is like, what? Okay, like, one thing is I get compliments from a foreigner. Okay, that does happen. But another thing is that he actually speaks Thai, which means that he's not some foreigner who's coming in here and trying to get laid and then go back to his country. He came here, had to spend some time learning the language. If he's learning the language, he's probably have some Thai friends, understands the culture, been here for a while, and most likely wants to live here. But like, nobody in their right mind really learns such difficult language as Thai without essentially wanting to live here forever. Like I said, it's probably one of the most frustrating and difficult things that I'm going to do in my 40s. And I'm not even sure if it's maybe even in my life. When I was learning English, it was easier because I was a teenager. I was 15. It was in America. It's an easy language to learn, so it wasn't that bad. But even then, it took me about 3 years. Here is going to take much longer. Now, I am putting a lot of effort. But that's also, I embarrass myself every day, guys. I embarrass myself every day. And when I speak very slowly, and I can speak all right, actually. But the problem is when I speak and the Thai people reply, my understanding of Thai is much, much worse than the way I speak. And so it is much more difficult because, Thai people don't know, because there's so few foreigners who actually do speak Thai. As soon as Thai people hear you put even a one short sentence together, they're like, "Oh, this foreigner speaks Thai, so we're just gonna," And I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! This foreigner is learning Thai and can speak Thai, but may not understand Thai." So I get in a lot of kind of silly situations, in conversations, but at the same time, when I go out with a girl who doesn't speak English, and that's what I prefer here when I date Thai women, they kind of understand that, okay, all right, this foreigner, I can't talk to him yet about the meaning of life or the birth of the universe. We're gonna have to talk about the chicken on the plate and the smoothie and what you did this weekend, and all that stuff. And they do it, and that's fine. If I date a girl for a little bit, I do actually ask my teacher. I ask her to come over to meet with my teacher, my Thai teacher, so my Thai teacher can explain a little bit. And I do this with some of my Thai friends who live in the neighborhood. I had my teacher come out and meet them. Just say, okay, listen, this guy's old. Okay, he's not going to learn very quickly. You're going to have to if he doesn't understand what you're saying, it's not because his hearing aid is not on. It's because he doesn't know the words you're using, or you're speaking way too quickly. So first repeat it and be slow, like he's, ooh, and or after that, just use a different word, use a simpler word. Just think about it, like, you know, if you're using a complicated word, he's probably doesn't know it yet. And if not, just move on. You know what I mean? There's no reason to kick him in the balls too many times. Just, okay, I'm sure there's no conversation that any of my neighbors or the girls that I date, they need to have with me, that they cannot move on from real quick anyway. So that's, but let me get back to the phrase that I use a lot for myself when I talk to myself, really. Nothing worth having ever comes easy. Okay. If you're thinking, if you want a wife who is traditional and submissive and kind and agreeable and obedient and all of that stuff, you're not going to find it in America anymore. You're not going to find it in Europe, in Great Britain, and you're not going to find it in Australia. You either have to stop dating completely, or continue being or becoming a simp, which I don't do testicle removal surgery, so it's not my specialty, but that's really the only way how to get a girl in those countries. But your only bet is to leave America, leave the country of your origin, whatever it is, and come to a more traditional country. Now, again, if you go to the millionmenproject.com, I put so much effort into making sure that, all of that information is there for you. And you can, again, I know I charge money for it, but sorry, guys, I got to eat. But it's not much, and it will absolutely save you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars or euros or whatever, or Thai baht, when you actually attempt this. But this is really your only choice. And nothing worth having ever comes easy. And the fact that you left America will be rewarded immediately, because you will no longer be a second-class citizen. You will no longer have to simp and deal with Western women. Again, if you just show up and enjoy that feeling for the rest of your life, totally worth it. But if you want to start dating amazing women, you're going to have to learn the language, learn the culture, learn the tradition, understand the type. Because here, most of these women who will fucking undress you, and I don't mean in a good way, I mean, will take your money, do absolutely nothing for you, basically be American women who'll take advantage of a simp. They look very innocent. They really look very innocent, and they sound very innocent. I can see how many guys are fooled, because in America, usually the women like that, they you can easily tell them apart from the quiet, nice, submissive women. But these bitches, you'll never know, especially if you just hear. I mean, most of you will never even know if it's a ladyboy or not. So you don't know shit when you show up here. You do have to live here for a while, understand how things are going on, how things are done, what's going on, and only then you can start dating. I have been here for what, 1 year and 10 months, almost 2 years. I'm not ready to seriously date a Thai woman. I'm not ready because my Thai is not good enough to have like a fully blown relationship. So I'm a 1 year away, maybe two, until I can actually do that. I mean, boy, when I finally do, I will be ruthless, you know. But until then, I keep learning. And by the way, I like the fact that I still need another year or so because I'm still learning the culture. I'm still also building my network of friends. I showed up here when I was 46 years old. I'm 48 this year. It takes a while, especially in my age, to build a network of friends. Now I have a couple of three or four foreign friends who are already embedded in these communities with their wives and families and stuff like that. And that was kind of my base. But now I have more friends who are Thai. I now met a lot of wonderful people in my Thai neighborhood, and they kind of became my second family. And so it is, it's a process. So by the time I will meet that girl, not only I will be able to speak Thai, but I will be able to bring her to my friends, to my Thai friends, and I'll be like, hey, just so you know, she's great. Or you know what, you might want to think about this. We noticed something you might have not noticed because we're all Thai. Um, and most likely I would meet her through friends. It's not going to be at Starbucks. It's not going to be on the bus. It's not going to be on a dating app. It's most likely and it has happened before, where my Thai friends or my foreigner friends with Thai wives said, hey, we have a friend of a family. Last time, it was only a few weeks ago. It was my friend's Thai wife's customer who she got to know. And she said, listen, I have this regular customer. She's a nice girl. She's single, doesn't speak a word of English, which gave me an erection immediately, doesn't have any tattoos, which gave me a bigger erection. And we'll put you together. And this way there is no ghosting, there is no bullshit, because we both have to answer to our sides of the family, right? um, it didn't work out, unfortunately, but this is how it's probably going to happen. And you can't build that community here of Thai people, of local people, overnight. you know uh, uh, you know I see a lot of foreigners who come to the same places where I've met and made friends with the vendors and their families, but you can tell that they are foreigners. They kind of don't understand or have no idea or don't want to be part of this culture, and which is fine. But you can see how Thai people treat them as, well, you're my customer, you're a foreigner, whatever. But there's going to be distance. I can see how much warmer me and some of the other foreigners who do speak Thai, who do understand the traditions, how different we're being treated. Now, Thai people are amazing, kind people. They'll treat everybody amazing, but you know, I now feel like I'm being treated as a family, and that's a whole different story. So I hope this made sense to you guys. If and really I should say, when you come to another country of your choice, again, go to the millionmanproject.com. You will see how long the journey is to even pick the right country. But when you pick that country and come there, just know you need to reinvent yourself and improve yourself. And you probably should do it while you're still in the country of your origin, because when you show up like these guys that I told you about, who are good men, oh boy, you're gonna have the same fucking results, and you might as well go home. So with that, I will sign off. Next time, I want to talk about something that happened with a girl that I was talking to who lives in Kenya. I'm going to Kenya next month. Then I thought maybe I can develop some sort of a, you know, long distance light relationship before I go there and meet her in person. And I'll tell you, and she was pretty much perfect except for one, what my friends would say, little thing. But that was a deal breaker, and I wanted to tell you guys that story because a lot of guys don't notice those little things, and they keep going and they build a relationship and they ignore more red flags. So I just wanted you guys to tell you the story about how I picked up on a red flag that most guys wouldn't, and I wanted to tell that story next time. So thanks for hanging out with me. Thank you for all of the questions. Anthony, LJ, who else was here? A few of you. So thank you so much. I will continue doing these live streams pretty regularly on Tuesday. Other than that, have an awesome day. Happy Thai New Year, and I will see you next time.